Alright, I'm going to talk Jeremy Maclin. So, heads up, Jeremy Maclin is a Baltimore Raven now. Get over it, Eagles fans. Ugh. I'm going to talk about a few guys in this video. A few of them are people the Eagles want to have go and leave the team, while others are people that the Eagles actually want on this team. And I'm going to talk about why Jeremy Maclin to Philly was never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. People are upset because we let him go to Baltimore. We said we had no interest in the guy. I'm going to talk about why we didn't, or at least in my personal opinion, looking at it as a fan, as a viewer from this kind of a standpoint, I'm going to talk about that. So if you happen to agree or enjoy, click the like button, do all that good stuff, subscribe if you're new. But yes, Jeremy Maclin is a Baltimore Raven. He signed a 2-year deal a couple hours ago. I've been planning this video out. I was going to make this video about Nelson Agholor, because people are actually asking me to make a Nelson Agholor video talking about him for a couple of minutes, maybe like 10, 15, on what I think could happen in 2017 and in his future career and stuff like that. I'm going to sideline that and make this about Jeremy Maclin and Nelson Agholor, because people think that it's just easy. We should have just let go of Nelson Agholor and maybe even Dorial Green-Beckham and signed Jeremy Maclin. People thought it was that simple. In football, nothing is simple in the free agency, you know? You might think it's simple because we, day one got Torrey Smith and Alshon Jeffrey. We had nobody else at wide receiver. That was an area of need. And right now, it's not an area of need with all the young prospects that we have, Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. And I want to target these two for a second. When you have a capable wide receiver who we know can make big plays, and Alshon Jeffrey, you know you're going to have a good season. You know it. You know that those Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey are going to have a successful year. Whether or not we make the playoffs, the stats are going up. As long as both of them stay healthy, they're going to have a good season. People always forget that Riley Cooper was a hated wide receiver. We don't forget that. No. We forget how well he did here. He did pretty damn good in 2013 and 2014. And the reasons why is because he was a number 2 wide receiver both of those years. He was going up with Deshaun Jackson at number 1. And people were always talking about how we didn't get Deshaun Jackson. That's not that simple. He talked about coming back. He considered it. Jeremy Maclin never said a thing about returning to Philly. Deshaun Jackson said, yeah, I could consider it. It would be a good story, but in 2013, Deshaun Jackson had a career season, had his best season of his career before, I think, 2014 with Washington, whichever one. He had the best season of his career here in Philly on the Chip Kelly system and number 1 wide receiver. Number 2 was Riley Cooper. And Riley Cooper did pretty damn well that season. He proved to be a deep threat. And you want to know why? Because we had a wide receiver who people paid attention to. That people actually ran away from other wide receivers because that's how dangerous he was. We haven't had that since Deshaun Jackson. And you wonder why our wide receivers aren't ever good enough. Because no one is that big threat. And we've talked about it before. But now that we have Alshon Jeffrey, people can cross out that big threat and be like, yep, we got it now. But Torrey Smith sucks. I don't want him. Let's get Jeremy Maclin. If you listen to what you just said, how you have a number 1 wide receiver, a very capable, threatening wide receiver, and Alshon Jeffrey, it doesn't matter who you put up at number 2, they'll have a good season because the attention will go to them. Do you want to know why Des Bryant gets Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams, these not-so-good wide receivers in Dallas, some amazing plays, big-time plays when they needed during the season, during close NFC East games, playoff games? It's because Des Bryant is a monster. He's a number 1 guy. He's one of the best in the league, and he's capable of doing crazy things to help your team. So when it's crunch time and you're down 27-23, what are they going to do? They're either going to launch it deep to Dez, and leave everyone else open, and they could throw it to them as well. So the logic behind this is, you have a speedy guy in Torrey Smith going up against one of the best in the league, Alshon Jeffrey. Torrey Smith is going to get open a pretty damn good amount of times. All he has to do is catch the ball. All Carson Wentz has to do is put the ball there. And people always forget. Jordan Matthews is returning to the slot. And when Jordan Matthews is in the slot, he is one of the most dangerous wide receivers in the league. As of right now, he is number 1 in the entire NFL, leading in yards from the slot since 2014. He didn't even play in the slot last year, at least for a majority of last year. He has over like 2,900 something yards from scrimmage from the slot. And he's returning there, up aside with Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. Who do you think the attention is going to go to again? Alshon Jeffrey, right. So Torrey Smith and Jordan Matthews are going to get open. Doesn't matter how bad they play, doesn't matter how good they play. In the end, they're going to get open, they're going to get the hands on the ball, and they're going to make plays. We don't need Jeremy Maclin. Jeremy Maclin, you saw how poorly he played last year. Do you really want to actually give him a chance? I'm not saying that he's washed up or anything. I would have loved to give him a chance. I don't really care if we do or didn't. But this video, I'm saying we shouldn't have, because it wouldn't have done anything good. Just would have made things more difficult for Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz doesn't know the guy. He has to deal with getting used to Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Shelton Gibson, Matt Collins, LeGarrette Blount at your number 1 running back. What more can you ask from a guy in his second year? We want to make this a good year for him, right? We want him to have a successful season. Lay low on who else we get at wide receivers. We don't need any more wide receivers, guys. We don't need Jeremy Maclin. The wide receivers, the depth chart of wide receiver is full. It's closed. It's done. Whoever gets cut, gets cut. Whoever makes the team, makes the team. That's how it's going to roll. We have 10 wide receivers right now. 4 of those are battling for spots, or at least 3 of them, rather. The other 6 or 7 are guaranteed at least a practice squad or a spot on the 53-man roster, or at least a spot going in the preseason. The whole Jeremy Maclin situation was unnecessary and idiotic by us Philadelphia Eagles fans. We don't need Jeremy Maclin. As much as it would have been nice to see him return, I won't deny that. I would have loved to see him return and maybe see him have some success. It wouldn't have been worth it, and it wouldn't have mattered in the end. Same goes for getting Deshaun Jackson. He would have made an impact, sure, but it wouldn't have made things easier. That's my opinion. And I was going to talk about Nelson Agholor this video, but I don't have to. I'll save the Nelson Agholor talk for another time. But for right now, Jeremy Maclin is a Baltimore Raven. Get over it, Philadelphia Eagles fans. We don't need him. Good luck to him, please. Good luck to him. I love the guy. He's a great person. He's a great football player. He'll have success there, for sure, with Joe Flacco, a proven quarterback. I guarantee you he'll have a good year. But we don't need him here in Philadelphia. He's moved on as well. You can tell he's moved on from Philadelphia. There's no need to dwell on the past. Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith, Carson Wentz are our future. Let's roll with what we've got and see what happens. Enough if this and if that. It's the end of the story. I love you, Jeremy Maclin. Best of luck in Baltimore. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Talk to you guys later. Have a good day, guys. Peace out.